Let me turn to John Zogby because he's joined us here. He wrote all about the first globals and the millennials. And John, I just need to ask you, for the bulk of this year, you've been warning about Trump. You didn't think he'd hang on. But I just wonder, when you listened to Mitt Romney today at the University of Utah, was he channeling his inner John Zogby a little bit? What did you think of the Romney attack earlier today?
Well, you know, you have to be a little suspicious. We kind of sense that Mitt himself would like to have run. But I think he genuinely spoke for the establishment of the party. Donald Trump worries them, not simply because of the positions. He's taken all the positions that the party autopsy warned against, but also that, you know, he's a bucking bronco. He has not shown a capacity really to work through channels within the party. So I think there's genuine concern there, and we see the beginnings now of a strategy on the part of the establishment. You know, the short-term strategy of, you know, one state, one guy, you know, Rubio in Florida, Kasich in Ohio, winner take all. And also then the possibility of a brokered convention. I suspect in the final analysis that probably helps Trump. It fuels him because he's running anti-establishment, and here it looks now like there's what was a conspiracy, now an overt effort to block him.
Joe Califano, who was Jimmy Carter's first Secretary of Health, Education, and Welfare back when we had that consolidation, and before that advised Lyndon Johnson, I believe was legal counsel of the White House, wrote a book in his years out of government entitled, quote, A Presidential Nation. John, earlier, Dick Morris was making the point that this is a Trump-centric choice, if I can use that label. In other words, Trump always figures in the equation. Either you're for him or against him. It's always a reaction with Trump. And with Trump being present constantly, even with some polarization, doesn't it, despite the protests of the establishment, isn't this race now Donald Trump's to lose?
Oh, it absolutely is. And even further than that, the rift in the party now is we have the actual votes and the data. It's now between the party, the will of the people, and the party establishment. That even fuels his candidacy more. So he knows how to dominate the media. He knows that the media loves the ratings that they get when he dominates the media, but now he's got actual votes, millions of votes behind him, and how do you deny him, you know, a nomination? I think it's going to be very, very difficult.
Steve Malzberg, John Zogby crystallizes it, the will of the people as opposed to the party establishment. The implication being, if the establishment gets its way, it's bad news for the GOP.
Well, absolutely it will be. And, you know, to that point, Donald Trump pointed out today, and correctly, he dwarfed the number of votes that Mitt Romney got when he ran in 2012 in Massachusetts, where he had been governor. Donald Trump dwarfed those votes when he, in the recent primary on Super Tuesday in Massachusetts. In fact, he's got, you know, millions of votes that Republicans never had before. They're coming out all over the place, and it's because of Donald Trump. Look, what Mitt Romney did was reprehensible. It was desperate. It was a disgrace. He wrote Hillary Clinton's general election campaign speech for her. And that ticks me off as a Republican. That ticks millions of people off who are Trump supporters. It should tick everybody off who's a Republican, whether they support Trump or not. It's a disgrace. It was engineered by McCain and Graham and Paul Ryan and all of them. And you know what? They can talk against Trump all they want. Like I said earlier, and I guess John might agree here too, it just helps Donald Trump. And as I said, I don't know if John caught the very end of the debate, very important that all of these candidates tonight have said what the establishment will not say. They will all support each other no matter who is the nominee. And that's more than the lousy establishment has said.